Hey everybody, I'm back. So, still trying to get the hang of managing the crusade. Now that I've got that built, I can go ahead and start building other things. Let's see, hmm. Let's see, which ones provide bonuses to adjacent buildings? It's 10 bonus to energy for all generals. So in adjacent buildings, only one apothecary can be built in each fort except Dresden. Trainable units in adjacent buildings. Yeah, this one's definitely a priority. Doesn't look like that needs to be adjacent to anything. We'll go ahead and build that there. Yeah, that only boosts finance points income if there are no buildings for recruitment in here, and I plan to build all of those. Maybe. Well, yeah, I mean, anywhere else I could build only has like 4 spaces. So this is for all trainable units, it doesn't need to be adjacent. Yeah, that's unnecessary here. Adjacent buildings. Yeah, it looks like there are 4 buildings that should be built adjacent to other buildings. Go ahead and build the main barracks. And the main archery range. Yeah, I'm getting low on materials points there. Are there any that increase materials points income? Oh, here we go. Increases materials points income by 3. By 3 per day? Yeah, let's go ahead and build this now. And that's about all I can afford to build right now. Aside from that, but I think I'll hold off on that for now. So that's what we meant by friends. I like how they know it's me by the butterflies constantly swarming around me. Yes, you are. Hey, Reynard, finally, we rushed here as soon as we heard what happened in Dresden. We brought friends, too, except we've only just met some of them. Allow me to introduce them. Maîtresse Ola Devara, the illustrious exiled alchemist. Those formidable warriors there are halflings from the temple of Chaldira Zuzaristan, the goddess of battle and recklessness. This is the famous street artist Maestro Aventurine, a pseudonym, of course. Rare is the administrative building in Avestan that has escaped his brush. And here in front we have our mounted gnomish contingent, the cavalry sculptors. We have all come here to help you fight the forces of the Abyss. Why was Maîtresse Ola exiled? Prejudice, that's why. For some reason, people are suspicious of alchemists who worship Caden Kalian. They also consider my experiments dangerous, which is utterly preposterous for one. Science comes at a price, after all. And besides, it wasn't I who caused that explosion back in Absalom and raised half a block. I mean, I wasn't even there. Still, now that I'm surrounded by open-minded people, I'll be able to unleash my talents and show those demons that bombs can protect us as well as any prayers. What are the goddess Chaldera and her worshippers famous for? Chaldera is the goddess of mischief, battle, and luck, and a close friend of Desna the Moon Mother. Chaldera is not the goddess of strategic planning, put it that way. As her worshippers, we charge headlong into battle, leading others into the fray, and we despise evil in all its forms. My friend and I have long wanted to support the Crusades, but this is the first time we've seen a leader we're willing to follow. An artist on a crusade? A street artist to boot? Dusty galleries and pompous patrons aren't really my scene. I only paint in places where everyone can see my work and appreciate its special meaning. I used to paint flowers and the sun on the walls of besieged forts to make the attacking armies realizing they were destroying another's peace and joy. I once depicted the acts of Iomedae in a painting in the middle of the Chelaxian capital, not because I worship her, but rather to remind the people of Cheliax that this proud, tyrant-toppling goddess was born there. I don't yet know what I will create here in the Worldwound, but I feel I must play some part in the salvation of this land. Cavalry sculptors? Exactly! The cavalry sculptors are an ancient and revered gnomish society. In certain circles, that is. Our only rivals are the pikemen confectioners. But they don't have a noble legend that tells of the creation of their society, unlike us. According to this legend, a brave gnome knight once participated in a battle that lasted many days. He had to ride into battle down one and the same path, past one and the same boulder. Soon he was fed up with it. He started to chip off a piece of the boulder each time he rose past it, eventually carving it into a giant apple. The little game turned out to be so captivating that soon the knight's entire squad began to do the same. And then the enemy joined in too. It goes without saying that they were all gnomes. The war soon ended, but before it did, they had carved all kinds of fruit and vegetables from a dozen boulders and a couple of rocks, all well mounted too. And that is how our noble society was born. Are you all going to join my army? Of course not! We didn't come here to march around in neat little rows like all the crusaders who've come before us. We're here to answer the call of our hearts, and we're going to help you in every way we can. We will all do something for our cause, but we are free spirits. We take orders from no one, and we certainly do not join in other people's war games. Army discipline and the grey walls of Dresden do not stir our hearts, Reynard. Yet I know that you are the winds of change we've been waiting for. In Canabres I witnessed your kindness, bravery, and tenacity. I'll follow you straight into hellfire. All of us will, but we will each tread our own path. Now, what am I going to do with you? I know what you need to do. Knight them. I mean, I've been told many stories about Galarian, and that's what always happens in them. Reynard is the knight commander, right? That means he can knight you all. Ordinary knights are a bit boring, but I know Reynard will make your oath really exciting. I like the sound of that. We'll be the, Free Crusaders. What do you think, Reynard? Just make up an oath for us so we can be knighted, and then we'll start our campaign against the demons, and they will tremble before us. Have to roll a 9 or higher. Yes! Brothers and sisters, our paths have led us here, to this place, on this day, because we are guided by the same stars that beckoned by one and the same dream. Ours is a dream of freedom and of the triumph of light over darkness. I am not here to rule over you, but rather to be the first among equals as long as you are willing to follow me. Stand up, brothers and sisters. Henceforth you shall be my free knight crusaders. You should have added something at the end, like cookies for everyone. Except we probably don't have any cookies. Well, I can fly off quick and bring some back. Cool. Ooh! Oh wow, what was that? Where did it come from? I'll bet a jar of strawberry jam it came straight from Elysium. I mean, I don't have any strawberry jam, but still. The big grown-up dragons in my family can transform their environment like this, but how did you do it? We've seen something like this happen before. Reynard, it was back in Canabres, in the temple where we all gathered together. A glowing aura enveloped you and we heard music that wasn't actually there. Just the same as this time. A wondrous power dwells within you, and it's growing. My power manifests itself spontaneously. I don't know why it happens. We'll try to figure it out. All of us. I'll need Maitress Ola's help and the others too. We'll set up a camp right here on the ridge and monitor any new changes. There's not much to analyze yet. I've only witnessed 2 cases where something unusual happened around you. Both cases were spontaneous, and both times you were surrounded by people who had been helped and inspired by you. The first time it happened, you saw a vision, but now a fragment of that vision has been brought to life. Who knows, Reynard? Maybe you'll be able to heal the entire world wound just like you healed this little patch of rock. Everyone says I've been blessed by the gods. Yes, but I'm almost certain this isn't the work of Iomade, or at least not hers alone. Your power, it's like a song of freedom, of lush wilderness, of the deepest longings of the heart, of Elysium. The warriors of heaven are too proud to possess or grant such a power. This type of power is brought into the world by Azadas, the children of freedom, and the deities of their plane, of whom Desna, our guiding star, is one. What are you going to do now? We'll set up camp here. Our learned friends will observe this Garden of Elysium and study it. The artists among us will start working on their art. I'll help the Chaldean halflings prepare to launch raids against the demons. The cavalry sculptors, I have no idea what they'll do, but I hope they'll keep themselves busy somehow. Drop by in a couple of weeks, will you? We'll have settled in by then, and we may even have something else to show you. But it's a secret for now. You forgot the most important part. Honestly, what would you all do without a smart little dragon like me around? Azadas have courts. The Court of Silent Laughter, for example, or the Court of the Flaming Storm. They always have such pretty names. People come to the courts freely and then stay because they like it there and have some affinity with it. That's why Reynard has to give this place a name. It's his court, after all. Will I name it? I suppose that's as good a name as any. It describes people who hang out here pretty well. I can rest here? Is that like resting anywhere else? Yeah, it is. Guess I don't really have anything more to say. Wait a minute. Oh wow, this place is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. Let's see if I can actually kill something. succeeded at that. Warriors have discovered what attracted such a horde of monsters, an impressive ambulant laboratory belonging to some insane alchemist. The laboratory had been mercilessly plundered, and the jars of elixirs and ingredients bore sinister holes through which the hideous creatures had consumed their contents like some exquisite nectar. Luckily, some of the alchemist's inventory survived and now belongs to the Crusaders. The residents of this village were famous for their hospitality and skill as craftsmen. All the surrounding lands celebrated the berries, sweets, and wooden utensils that could be bought here. Then the demons surrounded the village and feasted for 3 weeks, entertaining themselves with elaborate tortures. The villagers died in pain, cursing the Crusaders who never came to help them. This place is super haunted, isn't it? Yeah, there's no way I would be able to beat them. Strengthening diplomatic connections. Financing a crusade is a costly process, and the diplomatic council has to come up with new tricks to preserve the friendship of countries and nobility sponsoring the commander's army. Thanks to a generous donation, the clerics will organize a religious celebration in Dresden that will raise morale of the Crusaders. Energy points income increases by 20% and finance income reduces by 10% for 30 days. Warriors stuck in the middle of nowhere fighting vicious monsters have to remember why they are fighting and what they are sacrificing their lives for. The soldiers' loyalty will raise once the clerics praise them in front of the gods' eyes. Crusade morale increases by 5 to 10. Yeah, no, that seems like kind of a waste to do right now. Well, let's see what's out this way. The what? This is where, in times of yore, the Sarkorians worshipped Erastil, the patron of hunting and country life. The demon invasion left the temple without its flock, but it somehow avoided the wrath of monsters that usually ravage any trace of the worship of good gods. It stands still, empty and decrepit, waiting for the mortals to return. Well, here we go. Oh, this is gonna be great. Seriously? How many did I lose? Nope. Alright, let's see what we've got here. Immunities: mind affecting, fear, compulsion, emotion, poison, disease, charm, daze, stun, death, sleep, critical hits, damage from non-magical weapons, ability score damage, drain, precision damage. Negative energy, nauseated, fatigued, sickened, prone. Will this even do anything? Hey, it actually did something. Didn't do very much though, apparently. Charge?
Into the fray!
Here comes another one.
got this!
Well, I got one. And I lost literally everyone else. And now everybody's paralyzed. Great. What the fuck? How long's she going to be paralyzed for? Five minutes.
We will win this war. Esmo, Axe, yes. Esmo, Axe, yes. Esmo, Axe, yes. Esmo, Axe, yes. Esmo, Axe, yes.
And she can't even use that. Oh, she can, though. Wait. That's not what I want, though. I think what I want is remove disease.
Esmo, Axe, yes.
Well, I'm sure I'm gonna have to rest shortly after leaving here anyway.
Let's see what we can do. Here we go.
So that's all that's here then. Just a great sword and a ridiculously powerful ghost. Wait. If I wait a little while, I should be able to just intercept them. I should be able to take them out at least. Let's go. Huh. Otherworldly is the word that describes the stranger's face best. Everything about him indicates that he has arrived from another plane. He bows before you with grace and dignity. So that's what you look like, troublemaker. The whole plane of Elysium seems to be talking about you. Your power resounds through space like a bell. I hurried to the call so I could advise you and help you avoid any missteps. Boring. Wisdom is often tiresome. A mortal cannot be expected to wield supernatural power without guidance, so you would do well to take advice from an actual supernatural being. Reynard, you may call me Early Sunset. I hope to become your most trusted advisor in all matters, great or small. So you're a real Azada then? You came from Elysium? Not precisely. The news of you and your particular abilities reached me while I was traveling between planes, so I have not come directly from Elysium. However, I can tell you quite a lot about it if you'd like. How exactly can you help me? I will monitor your abilities, observing how they develop. You have probably discovered by now that they're somewhat chaotic and prone to spontaneous manifestation without your deliberate will. It's not surprising. Azadas and other supernatural beings are created with their powers already a part of them, yet you received yours as a sudden gift. That gift may be inconvenient and even dangerous for its wielder. I will try to learn more about it and teach you to control it over time. A mentor is essential for such an undertaking. If you really are a good mentor, then you should teach the fun stuff. You know, things like how to make pretty pictures on berry jelly with whipped cream. Not this boring stuff. Do you know anything about my power? It's unique, no doubt about that. Everything seems to suggest that you're somehow wielding the powers of the mightiest Azadas. Mortals possess many gifts and may reach extraordinary heights in sorcery, but your abilities are on another level entirely. They abide by different rules, if there are any rules at all to speak of. If this is the will of one of the gods of Elysium, I'd like to be the first to discover their intentions. That said, it may well be a careless folly long forgotten by its author and not a deliberate design. In that case, you will need my help and advice all the more. Glad to meet you, Early Sunset. The pleasure is mine. I'll take up no more of your time. If you wish to talk, I'll be nearby. It will take me some time and observation of you to ascertain how exactly your power manifests itself and how you must wield it or stop it spiraling out of control. Once I have something useful to tell you, I will inform you without delay. Commander, I have alarming news. Sir Char seems to be ill. He has stepped back almost completely from commanding his people. His ever-bright crusaders are a large and experienced force. Our strategy relies heavily on them. Please talk to him. It might be time for Sir Char to step down and hand over the leadership to a younger, more energetic knight. He's not a young man anymore. It must be a struggle to keep up with his responsibilities. What do you know about Sir Char's trouble? Just rumors, Commander. They say it's like his mind is somewhere else all the time. He is anxious, but won't say what happened. Sir Char is respected. When people see him acting strangely, it breeds uncertainty in the ranks. I will talk to Char. Thank you, Commander. This is a necessary step to maintain our fighting ability. Anything to say right now? You tell me about yourself. By mortal standards, I am very, very old, so telling you about myself would take an unreasonably long time. Many of the creatures you call supernatural emerged from the reborn souls of mortals. I am not one of them. I was shaped from a fragment of my home plane, as an embodiment of its principles. An eternity has passed since then, during which I have seen the incredible and witnessed the unbelievable. Gods battling one another, demon lords rising and falling, centuries-long disputes over the fate of a single soul brought before Pharasma's judgment. Yet despite the breadth of my experience, there are still things in this world that can surprise me. Like you, for instance. Tell me about the gods and things that have happened on other planes. You must have witnessed many great events. Oh, I know a story that you should find engaging. It's not directly related to you or current events, but it is still quite instructive. It occurred, let me see, less than 600 years ago as time is measured in the material plane. In other words, it might as well have been yesterday. It all began with Eolar, Lady of the Hunt, a demon lord who has since perished. It was her penchant to take control of the body of a recently deceased hero and visit their family and friends to wreak death on them in an especially gruesome manner. Eolar preferred to keep the hero's soul somewhere close at hand and make them watch their loved ones die, unable to intervene. Believe me, I take no pleasure in recounting this meaningless violence. It so happened that Eolar picked a righteous Desnan priestess, one the goddess was especially fond of as her new victim. It enraged the goddess, and believe me, the wrath of the righteous is much more destructive than that of evil and darkness. Desna stormed into the abyss itself and obliterated Eolar along with her realm, reduced her to dust, scattered her in the wind. And when she did that, something unprecedented occurred. Demon lords, who had lived like spiders in a jar since time immemorial, never missing a chance to bite each other, suddenly banded together in an alliance called the Coalition of Chaos. I don't recall ever, and I mean ever, laughing as hard as I did when I first heard that name. That said, most of the gods did not see the humor in it. A planar war was about to break out, one that would claim at least as many lives as Earthfall, all because of a single priestess, her family, and her friends. Thankfully, Callistria wished to right Desna's wrongs. The goddess of revenge revealed her most powerful aspect, sowing discord among the demon lords. The savored Sting is a true artist in that regard, I must say. The Coalition of Chaos crumbled, and the war never began. The demon lords and their armies crawled back to the abyss where they belonged, without glory. It seems you want to warn me against the recklessness displayed by Desna. Yes, I do. Demons deserve punishment, but you should not go too far when battling them. You must ensure that your followers show equal restraint. Elysium, what is it like? It is a plane of great contradictions. It is built on the ideas of freedom, good deeds, and openness to all. But here is the paradox. If you do not believe in restrictions and are prepared to accept everyone, must you also accept those who seek to restrain your freedom and bind you? If you are good and enjoy liberty, must you put up with those who are evil and who thirst for power? Will banishing them be considered a restriction of their freedom? So many questions. So chaotic is that plane that its separate parts contrast sharply with the whole. Vengeful Callistria and Gorum, the embodiment of endless and meaningless war, rule over Elysium alongside the carefree Desna and the adventurer god Caden Kalian. I must say that the one thing Elysium cannot abide is order, but it wouldn't be quite true. It is more that order avoids Elysium at all cost. How is your study of my power progressing? Not quite as quickly as I'd like. Still, I can already tell that the key to controlling your power lies in self-control, believe it or not. You're driven by emotion. It may bring visions of Elysium upon you, or it may turn the rock you stand upon into a garden. So far, these manifestations of power have been harmless, but someday you might transform a fortress wall standing between you and an enemy army into a curtain of flowering vines. That's why you cannot simply let things run their course. Be cautious and prudent when making decisions. I'll be there for you. I will intervene and advise you if the choice you are about to make is potentially dangerous. Why did you decide to help me in the first place? Someone had to. Anyone who wields that kind of power, especially a power heretofore unknown that shifts the balance in the world wound, cannot be left unattended. As much as I'd like to avoid odious comparisons to a moth drawn to a flame, it is true in a sense. I have been drawn to your light, so here I am. Hmm. I see. She was never supposed to follow me, was she? When I was little, I mean even littler than I am now, I got really upset because they didn't have a hair tuft on my tail. Now I realize that hair tufts are for babies. A tail that is truly awesome has gotta have a rattle. Where do you come from again, and why did you decide to help me? You're my bestest friend, how could I not help you? As for coming here, I just sensed your power and flew all the way to you. I mean, I can't usually fly between the planes by myself, but your power was like a guiding light, so I just flew. Tell me about Elysium. I can't tell you all that much about Elysium. I only lived there for 5 years after all. If you don't count the time I spent as an egg, it's a beautiful world. So many things grow there and they produce beautiful fruit, but there are some fruits that you're not allowed to eat. There are some places where you're not allowed to fly either. There are places that kids aren't allowed to visit, though not as many as there are here on Galarian. All kinds of beings live in Elysium, even titans and gods, but I've only ever met one, Caden Kalian. He's not like other gods, he can go wherever he wants and talk to whoever he wants. Imagine that! There I was, just flying around on some errands, and I met him, a god. He let me sit on his shoulder and carried me around for a bit. It was so much fun. But then he gave me a sip of beer and I said it tasted revolting. I realized it probably wasn't the best thing to say to the god of ale and wine, but he wasn't angry. He just laughed and said I'd understand when I grew up. I hate it when people say that, even a god. You'd think a god would know what dragons like. What do you think of my companions? Oh, I thought you'd never ask. I like Arushale best. She's so cute, and she has wings. They make her twice as cute. Yeah, I like Arushale best too. Ember is kind, but I'm a little scared of her. And don't tell anyone this, I almost got in a fight with that crow of hers. I like Lan, but he's really, really sad, even when he's making jokes. Or rather, he's even more sad when he's making jokes. It's all the wrong way around. I don't understand it. Regil? Boo. Let's kick him out. Pretty please? Social always smiles at me, but he won't paint me properly. I keep telling him to add an extra tail, a fluffy one, and make my claws fluffy, and maybe add a golden little plume that glows. But he just says that I don't look like that in real life. Who cares about real life when you can imagine so much better? Sela, I kind of like her, but I kind of don't. She always treats me like I'm just some little pipsqueak. I mean, I know I'm little, but I'm still a dragon. Camellia is beautiful, but her spirit doesn't seem to want to talk to me for some reason. I guess it's just too shy. I don't even want to talk about Greybor. It feels like he's always sizing me up, wondering what kind of trophy I'll make when I'm big. I'll steal his pack one night and chew it up just because I can. Daron is mean. He doesn't think I'm even a little bit cute, I'm sure of it. How can you even speak to someone who doesn't love a cute little dragon like me? I'm a bit scared of Nenio. She's already tried to catch me 3 times. She said she wanted to measure me with a ruler or something and attach a clothespin to my wing. It sure was annoying. I like Irabeth, but only from a distance. I don't want to be too friendly with her. I mean, she'd probably start making scary faces and stamping her feet if I scattered peas where the paladins go to pray. You know, to make them slip and flail their arms about trying to stay standing. That would be so funny. Anivia probably wouldn't yell at me, but she'd probably catch me before I even poured the peas. I'm friends with your entire court, especially Aranka, Wallflower, and Ilks, but you probably know that already. Aren't you scared of battling the demons? Not even a tiny little bit. After all, I have you by my side. By the way, next time we meet any demons, we should ask them if they're scared to fight us. Then I have to go too. We have to go, both of us. Hold on. What? Oh, there she is. Commander, how may I be of service to you? What are you reading? That is a state secret, but for you I can offer a hint. Every single day I receive dozens of classified diplomatic missives from all countries supporting the crusade. I have a question regarding diplomacy. I am happy to oblige. I'm always willing to talk about my craft. What's the current situation in Mendev? Things aren't terrible for a nation that has been at war with a demonic invasion force for a century. The people are weary of taxes, the army continues to pay tributes in blood, and many noble families are dying out, which breeds inheritance disputes. However, the crown stands strong and its authority remains high. The nobles are ready to follow Her Majesty's orders, and the Royal Council, comprising the closest and most trusted servants of the Queen, governs the nation sensibly and astutely. Why are you so fascinated by politics? Is this something all kitsune share? Not at all. However, we kitsune are predators, and our hunting spirit is strong. But unfortunately, chasing rabbits in the fields is rather boring, vulgar, and unfashionable. Politics is a hunt of a much more dignified sort, refined and captivating. Whenever I pick up the quill to write a letter of protest, oh, I feel like I'm ready to go for my prey's throat. So invigorating. You don't look like a soldier, and you're different from my other advisors. You're right, I'm not a soldier. Warfare has always been too bloody for my tastes. I prefer the intricate tapestries of politics, proposals with double and triple agendas, clashes of ideologies, and long-term strategizing. But they say that war is merely a continuation of politics, which is why my duties have brought me to your headquarters. I'm not comfortable with the Royal Council imposing its will on me. Please don't paint the situation in such a bleak light, Commander. The Royal Council does not seek to hinder you, it merely suggests the most sensible course of action. The members of the Royal Council have been serving Her Majesty for many years and have proven their wisdom. While your attention is focused on the war, they think about Mendev's future. Listen to their words and there will be peace between you. Kitsune are a rare sight in Mendev, and across all of Avestan. What can I say? I find it more interesting here than back home. Besides, I suspect these lands still have more kitsune diplomats than kitsune commanders. You are not the first to have taken an interest in my race. Your companion Nenio has already interrogated me. A most amusing individual. Truly, we kitsune are incapable of normalcy. We find our passion and surrender to it entirely, mind and soul. Although in Nenio's case, I fear that the mind was lost, along with common sense. Yes, has something happened? Where did your boy Morveg go? He ran away, packed his things in the dead of night and disappeared. Must have gone to find some demons to fight. He is a Kelid. His entire clan are blood enemies of demons. They also worship the god Gorum. Did you see the straw wolf hanging from his neck? It's their clan talisman. It's called the Little Fang. Put in so much effort to get him to see the light of Iomade, but he imbibed his loyalty to Gorum with his mother's milk. I told him, you can't fight the darkness if you are guided by anger. If rage overwhelms you, you can't. You will either perish or become a villain, or get so used to war that you'll forget what it's like to live as a human. But he only had one thing on his mind, vengeance. For his family, for his ancestors, for his wounded honor. I tried to find him. They say he's been going to the tavern a lot recently. Everbright Crusaders don't go to taverns. We keep ourselves clean, body and spirit. But Morveg didn't go there to drink or play dice. He was looking for a guide, and he found one. A Kelid, too, an old one, a descendant of the Sarkorians. Even the demons couldn't force them out of these lands. They say Morveg wanted to go toward Wintersun, an ancient Sarkorian settlement, but I don't know what he wanted there or where exactly to look for him. There are a lot of demons in that region. I can't send scouts there with an order to leave no stone unturned. There will be too many skirmishes with monsters and huge losses. Oh, I guess we still have to rest here. Get rid of the death's door condition.
You're a master at drinking and having a good time. Have you ever thought of putting all that to good use? By throwing a charity banquet or something?
My mother used to do such things, but I don't have time for such deathly dullness. Next, you'll be suggesting I traipse around the homes of deserving poor, basket in arm.
When Staunton Vane turned to evil, his battle hammer was reforged into a glaive named Soulshear and charmed by a demoness named Minago. Now this weapon is in the Crusaders' hands, and only they can decide whether to use its power. +3 adamantine glaive gives you +2 additional daily uses of lay on hands, fervor, and channel energy class abilities if you possess them. Applied after a rest. Leave it as it is. Charm Soulshear. Let's cleanse Soulshear. That just seems appropriate for a cleric of Shalin. The fall of Staunton Vane is a tragedy and a disgraceful page in the history of the Crusades. The priests have purified his once glorious weapon through prayers and rites. See, that increased materials points income by 3. +1 bonus to AC for all trainable units in adjacent buildings. Oh, I guess I never built the main stable, did I? In retrospect, I should have built the main barracks there. I guess I'll build the main stables there once I have the materials for it. Yeah, I still only get new units by the week. Yeah, this just slows everything down so much. And Kingdom Management and Kingmaker wasn't anywhere near this bad. Well, apparently this is a Strength 6 army. Whatever that means. Let's go see how well they can fight a Strength 4 army. And we lost one archer. And a soldier. The Crusaders killed the cultists who were gathering an army of wild giants to storm Dresden. Now that Dresden is safe, workers can be transferred from the urgent strengthening of the walls to other important tasks. Not sure how useful that'll be. Hey, and we managed to keep everyone. Chasing elementals away to their home planes, Crusaders find a huge crystal filled with magical energy. It appears that it was imbued with the elemental force many years ago and convoyed to Dresden but never arrived. Its guards have perished, and the crystal itself, a powerful vessel of magical essence, has been drawing elemental spirits year after year. Guess I'll go with this. Let's see if we can take this. Really? Well, of course not. Erebeth has been appointed squad commander in the Vanguard. The success of military action depends on a regular supply of everything troops need and the judicious distribution of resources. The Logistic Council is made up of experienced officers will ensure there is no chaos in the army while the commander's attention is focused on the front line. Alright, here we go. Hey! We're actually succeeding here. Having buried those who died from the plague, warriors search the place and find a small grave where Sir Doland Regalor, a hero of the Second Crusade, rests in peace. They take care of the grave and clean dead bodies and dirt from a small oasis nearby, and the water instantly becomes clean, clear, and sweet. This place is much loved by spirits and gods. Alright. Conquest banner is already red. Let's see if I can do anything about that. Nice. And that was a level 6 army, I think? I don't understand how these numbers work. Alright, let's see if I can do this. Crusaders attacked the demon at a propitious moment when they were trying to sink a stash of cold iron nuggets in the nearest sand swamp. That hoard of metal would have been deadly to the beasts of the abyss and safely ended up in Mendevian warriors' care instead. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to beat that army. Darren has filed a request for a public audience with the commander. It seems that he has either something important to announce or a new jest to try out. I hate those bugs so much. And now my archers are useless. And now my archers are gonna die. Wow, they can actually attack for once. Alright, how many did we lose? Oh wow, we actually managed to keep everyone. Having ejected the demons from Eagle Rock, the former Crusader outpost lost during the Fourth Crusade, warriors were dismayed to discover that the fortifications had fallen into miserable ruins under demon rule. However, in the Warden's chambers, there is a cache containing valuables unnoticed by marauders. Wait, what? I thought I built a teleportation circle in there. Oh, it's still being built. Alright, we travel by foot then. Alright, Darren, what's your deal? Oh. Greetings, Commander. To be granted an audience with a figure of such importance is a great honor. Your victories have impressed and inspired me, which is why I wish to do my part in the Crusaders' struggle. Who are you? My name is Velg, and I am a Kelid. My lineage dates back to the Sarkorian clans, and bonds of kinship have always been sacred to my family. When the World Wound opened, my ancestors fled Sarkoris, but they did not forget their homeland. Even before the Crusades began, my great-great-grandfather marched in defense of our people. He perished, as they all did. My great-grandfather and his eldest sons joined the First Crusade. My grandfather joined the Second. Our family's warriors have fought in every crusade, and that is why our bloodline is now extinct. They say this crusade will be the last, and so I've come, alone, for there is no one else. Alas, I'm no warrior, but I still wish to be of use to you. How do you plan to help me? For 23 years I have been gathering documents on Sarkoris. They contain numerous mentions of the history of the Blackwater clan. The clan was beset by demons, as its members had dedicated themselves to creating a powerful weapon against the World Wound. The clan needed more time, but no support came from their neighbors, and so the Blackwaters were destroyed. But the fate of the clan is not important right now. What is important is that, thanks to a certain ancient maps, I have been able to pinpoint the location of their settlement. If you go there, you'll be able to verify my findings, and if you happen to find a weapon that will help you fight the demons, it will bring me satisfaction and pride. My life will have purpose. What kind of a weapon was the Blackwater clan working on? My thoughts on this matter are pure speculation. Perhaps it was a blade that could cut down even a demon lord, or an artifact that could call upon an endless host of spirits, or a circlet that could reverse the flow of time, or erase the planar invaders from reality. The Blackwater clan operated in secrecy to protect their work from spies, unfortunately an ever-present concern, and to avoid drawing the demons' attention before the time was right. You have an odd way of speaking. I am a scholar. I know how to speak through manuscripts, and prefer to express my thoughts using my quill instead of my tongue. Social interaction is not my area of expertise, so I ask for your understanding when it comes to my rather rudimentary communication skills. Thank you. I'll put this information to good use. It pleases me to be of use to you. Ah, Commander. How is our crusade doing? Our crusade? You weren't exactly thrilled to join the Crusaders. Of course I wasn't thrilled, but in unfavorable circumstances a man cannot allow himself to wallow in gloom and despondency. What a man can do is look on the bright side of the whole situation and change his circumstances as much as possible. I, for instance, am certain that I'd be able to throw a rip-roaring party even in the center of an erupting volcano, with my hands tied behind my back. So what brings you to me? Oh, it's just a trifling thing. I wish to make a donation to the Crusade cause. It seemed a smart decision to me because what's good for the Crusade is now tightly intertwined with what's good for yours truly. I did have to give the revenue from my estates a good shake-up and send a few couriers scurrying about, but in the end I managed to acquire a couple of decent items. All in all, here is my donation to the Crusade and its commander. You must try them out for yourself. I offer these gifts from the bottom of my heart. Wand of Pox Pustules, Wand of Ray of Sickening. I can sense your own agenda in your choice of gifts. Clever. I thought of you while selecting these gifts, and now I must beg your forgiveness and bid you farewell. I still have plans to order and send a package of special gifts to my dearest cousin. Let's see, you inflict a painful, itching rash on the target creature. The target is sickened and takes a -4 penalty to dexterity. And the other one... Subject is immediately sickened for the spell's duration. A successful fortitude save negates the effect.
If people's appearance reflected their inner life, no one would leave the house without a mask. And nobles wouldn't leave without a cloak concealing their entire body.
I wouldn't say your appearance reflects your mind. If that were true, you'd be the size of a mouse.
Now what? Well, it obviously can't be good if there's traps here.
Is that a trap?
Woljif? Easy now. We're all friends here. This was just a little misunderstanding. You thought you'd come across Crusaders, but they're big fans of our Lord Baphomet too. Ain't that right? Yeah, a misunderstanding. Hail Baphomet. Right, exactly. Pilgrims of the World Wound, meet the finest member of our big family. Hey there, Chief, long time no see. Why don't we hold off on the sacrifice for now? We need to drink to this happy meeting, am I right? Yeah, let's do that. Tie that one up on the altar again. We'll get around to slaughtering it later. We're playing some kind of game, yes? How come nobody told me the rules? Yes, it is a game of the great forces led by our Lord Baphomet, and you are a worthy player in that game, you evil spawn of the abyss. Ah, I get it. Wait, let me think of what to say. You're right, my evil comrade. I will help you sow horrific horrors and strike fearsome fear into the hearts of mortals. The world has never seen a creature like me before and knows not what I am capable of. If the Crescent of the Abyss says so, then welcome. Make yourselves at home in the temporary camp of the Pilgrims of the World Wound. But why did you attack our brothers? I took them for common brigands. Yes, our common brothers and sisters do look a little worse for wear after their long peregrinations in the World Wound. It's a pity that such a tragic mistake was made. But when we claim victory for our Lord, all of us shall go draped in gold. That I promise you. It is good that the Crescent of the Abyss, our beacon in the darkness, and our oracle has resolved this misunderstanding. Relax, friends, and after, if you wish, you may join our pilgrimage. Okay, Woljif, what's going on here? Whew, I thought I was done for. Could feel it in my tail that they were gonna kill me. If you ain't a sight for sore eyes, Chief. When I heard that the gargoyles hadn't got you and that you were running the show up at Dresden now, I can't tell you how happy that made me. But that night it all happened, I tell you I was so scared I couldn't see straight. I wandered around, wondering if my chief and the rest of the gang were lying in an open field with their eyes pecked out. Even my conscience pricked a little, thinking about how I ran. But when you look at it from my side, what else was I supposed to do? The actual paladins were getting cut down left, right, and center. And then these pilgrims of the World Wound tell me that Dresden's been reclaimed, that there's a new commander called Reynard. Well, I said to myself, there can't be two demon-slaying dynamos with that name. It must be you. So I cut my way through the circles around Dresden, and I waited for you to come out. At one point I got so desperate I almost went right up to the city walls, but I thought better of it. Although an arrow in the skull would be a sight better than running in fear of Votiel. Do you know Votiel? I don't either. but I remember the name because of what Mother Melrune yelled in the basement that time. I'm going to tell Hepsamira and Votiel, or something like that. Anyway, my shadow told me that Votiel is that demon, and I should be scared of him because he's after the Moon of the Abyss. But the shadow's a whole other story. But if you want to know why I haven't just come to Dresden, I need your help. It's a matter of life and death, Chief. Slow down, you're not making sense. What's going on here? Okay, I'll shut up. I mean, I won't shut up, but ask me what you want to know and I'll tell you. What was that? That was my cunning plan, Chief. Pretending to be cultists of Baphomet. Good thinking, but why did you ask me to do it? You've got to the crux of it, Chief. We have a secret mission here, see? To save the life of a good man. In other words, me. Well, not just me, but I'll definitely die too if these guys see something they don't like. I'll be on the altar next to that poor sap before you can say, Hail Baphomet. Why did you run the night we fought the gargoyles? Run? Me? I fought 'em, I did. You should have seen me. I got one right on the nose, then it arse over tea kettle and it flew off. I've gotten into scrapes a fair few times before, been caught by surprise in the dead of the night more times than I can count. So that's why I leapt up quick as anything, grabbed my knives and, well, of course I made a run for it. What else was I gonna do? I'm just a thief, a city boy. I don't go toe-to-toe with demons. Sure, I said I'd help you and all, but that was before. I didn't sign up for nighttime gargoyle attacks. What kind of idiot attacks in the middle of the night? I thought war would keep more civilized hours, to be honest. Wrong again. So, apologies, Chief. But I always end up on the winning side. It's just my nature. You and your lot in the camp that night did not have the look of victory about you. And it's not like I'd have been much help if a gargoyle snatched me in its claws. Of course I decided to run, and run I did. What's your relationship with the Baphomet cultists? It's complicated. It's a story of unrequited love, really. They love me, and all I think about is how to get away from them and save my own skin. Well, you seem to have got yourself a nice little setup. Maybe I should just leave you here with your underlings. To tell the truth, I can't cool my heels here for much longer, Chief. I could have run from the family and kept running for a long time, but you don't run from Votiel. He's a demon. If he don't find me first, they'll sell me out as soon as they get sick of me. I can feel it in my tail. Or else I'll end up on that altar. I know you, Chief. You're the type of warrior that all Mendev should be praying for. When I was in the camp, all I heard was Chief this, Chief that. There's no better chief than ours. If you need to sort the demons out, call the chief. That's what people were saying, I swear. I heard it with my own ears. So, will you help me? You said some shadow's been talking to you, is that right? Not just any shadow, my special shadow. After I spent a while running around the world wound scared out of my wits, it suddenly crept out and whispered in this distant-sounding voice, Votiel, North, fear Votiel. And the name was familiar because that's what Brother Melrune yelled out. And I put two and two together. This Votiel was in the north, and I needed to make sure he didn't find me. Bit by bit, I got the shadow to tell me that Votiel was a demon, and that he was looking for the Moon of the Abyss. Who knows why? By the way, I have a couple thoughts about my own of the moon. I'll tell you about them once we're out of this mess. Remind me why I shouldn't just kill all these cultists here and now? 'Cause they will still be useful to us if you decide to help me. And thanks for not trying to kill them as soon as you got here, by the way. Their leader is a nervous sort. He would have definitely stabbed the lad on the altar if you'd caused a fuss. They think if they perform all these sacrifices, Baphomet's gonna appear and hand out powerful spells like candy. What do you want from me? In a nutshell, Chief, I've got a bit of a situation here. One wrong move and I'm a goner. The demon Votiel is in the vicinity somewhere. A good man has suffered. The cultists are animals. I just want to get out of this and make Votiel back off. But without you, I've got no chance. Help me. I won't forget it as long as I live. Who is Votiel? All I know is that he's a demon that sent Brother Melrune to get the moon of the abyss. Now that I have the moon, Votiel's after me. Already tired of running from him. He's gonna catch me soon. I can feel it. What part of the cultists playing in your plan? Do you know why they call themselves the Pilgrims of the World Wound? Because they're itching to meet big-name demons like Baphomet. It's like they're on a pilgrimage. So that got me thinking, since they listen to me, we can lead them to Votiel and mess with their heads a bit. Say that Baphomet's been calling him nasty names and let the cultists fight Votiel for us. It'll be a riot. Cultists helping us take out a demon. Well, what do you think? What good man are you talking about? Me, of course. I'm a prisoner here, you know. And I suppose there's also the other fella, Devil, the one who's tied up. I kinda owe him one. I made a dumb mistake and now he's paying for it. Now don't get me wrong, I couldn't care less about the guy. He got himself into this mess. Except if it wasn't for me, they maybe wouldn't have caught him in the first place. These pilgrims kept asking me, will we have long to wait for the favors of Lord Baphomet? As though just because I have my shadow, I should know. What am I, some kind of demon whisperer? I just put on a kind of knowing air and say to him, Do as you have been doing and the favors will come. They took that to mean that they needed to keep cutting people up on the altar. I tried to put them off the idea, but they didn't listen. I acted like I was discussing things with my shadow, and I kept trying to hold them off, saying that the stars weren't in alignment. The raining eyeballs was a bad omen. I'd run out of ideas just before you showed up, Chief. I was already considering just letting him do it. He was a crusader after all, you know. Demons would probably get him in the end either way. It's not my fault that that's how they do things. It was either him or me. There is one way to get both of us out, but I can't manage it on my own. I need your help. All right, I'll help you deal with Votiel. I always knew you were a special sort, Chief. Let's go break his horns off. We need to go to a patch of scrubland by a bend in the river. It's not far, I'll show you. Nothing interesting about the place at all, but that's where I was when my shadow came out and started pushing me back the other way. It said that Votiel would find me easily there, that he'd swoop in and tear me limb from limb as soon as I popped up. I wasn't long turning away from that place, I tell ya. There's just one other thing. We need to round up my lackeys and send them off on an errand. While they're gone, we can free the prisoner. No point in leaving him here to be bored stiff, right? I can't believe that worked. At last the day has come when those odious faces will no longer be looming over me. The cultists hid my weapons and armor somewhere. I'll find them and then take my leave of this place forever. They're over there with the rest of the stolen stuff. I made sure they didn't go walkies in the night. I hoped you'd make it out of this somehow. Thanks for your efforts, Woljif. Time is of the essence. If there is a demon hunting you, better to lure him into a trap and strike first. Who are you? Deval Gwenviar, at your service. Nobleman, crusader, and only surviving member of my unit. What are you planning to do now? Find my armor and weapons, find something to eat, and then leave this place as quickly as possible. Perhaps I will die in the wound, but I will die with a sword in my hands, not like an animal at a slaughterhouse. And if I do make it out, I shall build a temple in Iomede's honor in my hometown. You're rich enough to build a temple if you fancy it? You were complaining that your parents don't give you enough money. I think we have slightly different conceptions of what counts as enough money. In any case, money is no longer a concern of mine. My life and my legacy belong to the goddess who sent you and the commander to my aid. How did you end up here? Solely through my own foolishness, because of my inability to fight like a man. I thought the crusade would be the best way to make my mark on history. I dreamt of the glory, of the respect that would be otherwise denied me as the third son of a noble family. When an officer laughed at my skills and called me an ignorant interloper, how right he was. Fate has a twisted sense of humor. My more experienced comrades died in this cursed place, one after another, but I survived. There were only 5 of us left in the end. Our hubris was gone, we were jumping at every shadow, and we still weren't cautious enough. I was the only one who survived after we were attacked in the night. I should have realized what was happening when the lookout went missing. Alright then, farewell, good luck. May Iomade keep you. Honestly, Sela hasn't been all that useful. I guess I'll send her home. Alright, Woljif, what did you get while you were gone? Rogue talent. Increased dexterity, mobility, trickery, stealth, perception, use magic device. Weapon focus. Dagger. What else could he have gotten? Then he gets Dispel Magic and Lightning Bolt. And Danger Sense. Mobility, Trickery, Stealth, Perception, and use Magic Device again. Improve 2-weapon fighting. Fireball and Slow. And for mythic levels, he gets 2-weapon fighting mythic. And always a chance. Anything else I can grab while we're here? Scroll of Protection from Evil Communal, Scroll of Word of Chaos. Any non-chaotic creature in the area of a Word of Chaos spell suffers the following ill effects. If the creature's HD is up to your caster level -1, it is stunned. If up to your caster level -5, it is confused and stunned. To your caster level, it is killed, confused, and stunned. I feel like the killed part renders the confused and stunned part irrelevant. The effects are cumulative and concurrent. A successful will save reduces or eliminates these effects. Creatures affected by multiple effects make only one save and apply the result to all of the effects. Creatures whose hit dice are equal to or exceed your caster level are unaffected by Word of Chaos. Potion of Vanish. Summon Monster 6. Divine Favor. Alright, let's get out of here. Clearing by a bend in a dried up river. Oh, there it is. Let's see, demons have been stealing children in Canabras and possessing their bodies so they can get close enough to Crusaders to deliver a dagger strike. The officers are asking how they should proceed when encountering the possessed. Let's try this. The officers will form a special unit made of halflings who are experts at posing as children. They will let themselves get captured, then break free and deal with the demons. Neurosian will be impressed by the commander's victory. Now. So that's what Woljif does. Force the dwarves to pay for having illegally stored the golems inside the walls. Woljif will send the dwarves a counter-demand for compensation. After all, the dwarves kept their golems in the walls without informing the commander. The clan members will have to pay with some coin and soldiers to get their property back. Yeah. Alright, I think I'm gonna stop there for now. Yeah, the Crusade battles just seem to add so much length to the game, and not in a good way. It's just kinda tedious. Like, there's all these armies that I can't even beat, But to get more soldiers, I have to wait a week. I mean, there are other ways to get more soldiers, and that option is looking really, really tempting now. But anyways, thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you all again some other time.